No, I don't blame you. Let's go over what we learnt one by one. Pasta is a dish native to the country of Italy. It varies greatly from region to region. Even though durum wheat semolina is usually used to make pasta, many other cereals and grains can also be used. Different colors can be imparted to the pasta by using a natural coloring ingredient like spinach, beetroot, and squid ink. Pasta comes in various shapes and sizes as well. Not only does the shape and size of pasta differ, the final taste of the dish also differs due to the variety of sauces used to garnish it with. All the sauces have different bases, ingredients, and herbs that give them a unique taste. We also learnt about the most common types of pasta used in restaurants. They are farfalle, a bow tie shaped pasta, fusilli, corkscrew shaped pasta, spaghetti, noodle shaped pasta, cannelloni, 3 inches long cylindrical tubes, ravioli, stuffed disc shaped pasta, macaroni, thin 1-inch long tubes with slight curve in the middle. Tomato based pasta sauces were then introduced. These were concasse, pulp of tomato without seeds or skin, arrabbiata, concasse spiced up with red chili flakes and extra garlic, napoletana, tomato sauce pepped up with bay leaf, oregano, thyme, and crushed peppercorns, bolognese, tomato puree, tomato sauce, and beef mince. Then we learned to prepare the famous cheesy Alfredo sauce, which contains both Parmesan and cheddar cheese. Mushroom sauce is another cheese and cream-based sauce, button mushrooms preferred. Pesto is a simple green sauce made using cheese, pine nuts, and basil leaves, among other things. Working in a professional kitchen is very stressful. There are no two ways about it. But what makes all the difference is your attitude. Let's see what Kabir can do to adopt the right attitude.
These are good clean cuts, Kabir. Very good work. You have improved a lot in the last few months.
Thank you, Chef. I've been very lucky to have help and encouragement from everyone.
That's the spirit.
Lesson 1 is to be humble. Whether you are peeling potatoes or cooking for a very important guest, your job is equally valuable. In a kitchen, no job is big or small. You must do whatever job you are assigned to happily.
Hey Kabir, we're heading out. Isn't your shift over?
Yeah. Almost done. Just want to clean up my station before leaving.
Oh, okay.
See you guys.
You are expected to clean up your sinks and workspaces. Even if the head chef asks you to pick up a mop and clean something, you must.
Oh, Jayesh, can you hold food in the counter for a minute or two? I need to clean this up and also sanitize my hands.
Sure, but come quickly though.
If something falls down while cooking at a live counter, clean the floor immediately, since it is in clear view of all the customers.
Chef?
Yes?
Chef, I was just preparing for the day. I need a mirpua for one of the recipes. Could you please help me with that?
Gladly, Kabir. I'm happy you asked for help at the prep stage and not when the kitchen opens for the day. Come on, I'll show you.
Nobody expects you to know everything. Surely there will be several practices that you are not aware of. In such cases, do not be afraid to ask for assistance.
Hey Sheetal, you look like you could take a break from this caramel. I have just taken a break. Let me stir it. You can go and have water or chai.
Thank you, Kabir. I really need the break. I haven't even had my lunch today. Thank you, Kabir.
In a kitchen, it's all about joint efforts. Especially when it comes to dealing with peak hour demands, you will have to put in extra efforts.
Okay. The brown stock is on the gas. The pale roux is also simmering. I need to cut the vegetables. Oh, I still need to sanitize that chopping board. Okay. Let me do that while this simmers, huh? Oh no, the brown stock. It's ruined. Chef will be angry. So angry.
Multitasking is nothing but handling many things at once. However, it is a skill that develops over time. In your initial period in the kitchen, do not bite off more than you can chew, or the results will be disastrous. Start slowly. Club together tasks that do not need you to constantly look over them. Remember, friends, these are some very important tips I've given you. Have a look at them once more so that you don't forget. Firstly, you must always be humble. No task is beneath you. Secondly, be clean. A messy workspace will just make you less efficient. Don't be afraid to ask for help, especially when you don't know what you're doing. It's better to be safe than sorry. Next, cooperate with your colleagues. You'd be surprised at the wonders you can do together. And lastly, multitask. Make sure you use each second of your time well. However, please ensure that you do not overburden yourself. Now let's go back and have a closer look at what actually happened there. Aha! Did you see what our waiter and chefs did here? He did not ask the guest specifically what kind of sauce she wanted with pasta. The steward did not give a KOT, kitchen order ticket, to the chef. In turn, the chef did not confirm the order with the steward, which resulted in a wrong order, an unsatisfied guest. Always accept orders by KOT and never ever verbally. When she mentioned it, the waiter tried to pass it off as a mistake on her part. These kinds of mistakes are completely unacceptable in a restaurant as they are very avoidable. I'm sure that you will never want to repeat such mistakes in future. So, let's learn the basics of good communication skills. Let's start with interdepartmental communication. You should always convey the instructions given to you in the briefing at the start of the shift to the chefs in the next shift. Maintain the kitchen board for writing generic instructions for all. Maintain the kitchen board for writing generic instructions for all and for writing the out-of-stock ingredients. Keep a track of requirements of any special guests like heart patients, diabetics, and such. Be careful in conveying and receiving the orders and requirements of guests. Be clear about all the conditions and special requests. For good interpersonal communication skills, you should follow these simple rules. First, you should always be careful in conveying and receiving the orders and requirements of guests. Confirm the order with the person who gave the order in case of any confusion. Always ask the head chef if you have a doubt regarding a certain recipe or method. Be very clear in understanding of the instructions. Do not make assumptions about the order or the recipe. When talking to the guests or conveying a message, always be polite. Do not be inconsiderate of guests' demands. Armed with these tips and tricks, you shouldn't have any problems with communication. In case you missed any tips, here they are again. Before you test your skills and knowledge in this area, here's a quick summary of the entire module. First, let's talk about basics of communication. Communication can be verbal or non-verbal. Non-verbal communication can further be divided up into written communication, sign language, and body language. Apart from this, communication in kitchen can be classified into two types: interpersonal communication and interdepartmental. In order to avoid any gaps in communication and understanding, all you need to do is follow a simple set of rules. Have a look. Let's go back to that scene and see how the junior chef could have handled the situation better.
Hi. I'd like to have pasta in red sauce and vegetable salad with yogurt dressing.
Oh, I'm sorry, ma'am. We don't have vegetable salad with the yogurt dressing.
Okay, but I'm sure you can arrange for one serving with yogurt dressing.
I'm sorry, ma'am. We don't have vegetable salad with the yogurt dressing as of now, but maybe you can try vegetable salad with vinaigrette dressing.
No thanks. I don't want to try whatever dressings you have. I want the one with yogurt dressing only, okay?
Ma'am, if you don't mind, if I may suggest, our Mediterranean salad is the most popular accompaniment with pasta.
No thanks. I don't want any of your suggestions, okay? I know what I want to eat, so bring what I've asked for.
Ma'am, as I told you before, it's not possible for us. It's not in the menu, so...
How dare you refuse to serve me? Don't you know who I am? Is this the kind of customer service you guys offer? Call your manager. I'll complain to him about this.
Ma'am, I understand your problem. If you can wait for a little bit, I will call my senior chef and he will attend you in a while. Thank you.
Here, Chef Anand tried to do the right thing by suggesting multiple alternatives. But like the lady on the scene, sometimes guests do not agree with the suggested alternatives. They may also behave unreasonable and rude. In this case, Chef Anand dealt with the situation very tactfully. Let's identify the simple steps he used to be polite yet firm with the customer. Instead of saying no at the outset, there are many other ways by which you can politely deal with your customers. Here are some of the generic guidelines to follow in such situations. When customers ask for a customized dish or anything that is against restaurant policy, you should always try to offer a substitute instead of refusing them directly. Never make your customers feel disgraced. Even if they are being extremely rude to you, you must swallow your ego and be polite. Remember that the customer is always king. If you feel that the situation is getting out of hand or you aren't able to find a solution, never be rude to the guest. Your seniors have probably experienced such situations several times, so they are the best people to handle the situation. Take their help. You should make your guests feel like you're on their side. Apologize profusely when you are not able to meet their demands. Say things like, "I understand your problem," or "I'm sorry for the trouble."
Chef Jash has fainted. We're trying to revive him, but he's severely dehydrated. Jash. He has been working long hours past week because he wanted to leave next week. He has been really stressed lately. We always asked him to take care of himself, and he always said he's too busy to do that. And now this. It didn't come as a surprise that he has fainted sooner rather than later. Jash. Chef Jash, what are you doing? That is not salt.
What?
You're supposed to put salt in that pulao, not sugar.
Sorry, chef. I'm just sleepy today. Couldn't sleep well last night. Reached home late after my last shift and left early for the first shift today.
Don't apologize to me, but you need to take care of yourself. Get enough sleep at night so you are fresh when you come to work.
I'll remember that.
Hey Jayesh, you look exhausted. Here, have some water.
No thanks, Sheetal. I can't drink water. I'm frying this chicken. It's dangerous to bring water near hot oil.
Oh, then come over here and have a sip. You really look very tired.
Sorry, Sheetal. I can't leave this chicken unattended. The chef wants it at a particular degree of doneness. You know how strict he is, don't you?
Yeah, if you say so, Jayesh, but make sure that you take a sip soon, okay?
Yeah, I will.
Jayesh, here is an urgent pasta order for table number 15. I need you here right now.
Coming, sir.
Did you see where Chef Jayesh went wrong, friends? These are just a few reasons people could get stressed in a commercial kitchen. Several things could become stressors based on your personality type. Now, before we move on, let's summarize all the things that you should do in order to avoid stress. You must always get at least 7 hours of sleep to function properly during the day. Always take small sips of water at regular intervals to stay hydrated while working in the kitchen. Never miss your meals or ignore hunger. This will only lead to weakness and nausea later on. If you take care and follow these few guidelines, you will have a healthy and stress-free work life. While setting up a live counter, there are some important points to keep in mind. Let's go over those before we move on to specific counters. Firstly, always take into consideration the available space. You cannot be too ambitious if the space you have to work in is too small to work in. It should be able to hold all the necessary equipment and ingredients and still look presentable. It's always better to have a themed counter. This helps customers decide what or what not to expect from you. It also streamlines your preparation process and assembly line. There are many themes, the most common of which are rustic, French, Punjabi, dosa, egg, seafood and pasta. Sometimes seafood and pasta can be combined to have a seafood pasta theme. The dish to be prepared decides the ingredients that need to be lined up or arranged on the counter. Relevant tools and equipment need to be placed at the counter for quick use. They should be within reach, but all of them needn't be displayed to the public. Things that are to be used frequently must always be kept handy. For example, salt, pepper, ketchup, and other such items should be handy. Sinks should be preferably nearby, but out of sight. Dustbins should be away from the preparation area, but close enough to be reached quickly. Pots and pans can be hung above the counter. If an item needs to be deep fried and tossed, tossing should be done very carefully so as not to splatter the guest with hot oil. If you just keep the above considerations in mind, I'm sure you can set up excellent, perfect live counters and serve great meals to your customers. So let's start with learning to set up the pasta counter. But first, do you know what pasta is? Don't worry, it isn't anything too difficult. Pasta is an Italian preparation made from unleavened wheat dough. It is found in many shapes, most common being noodles or spaghetti, and elbow macaroni. It can be cooked in front of patrons, that is, live. Such counters are present in most coffee shops and all-day diners or restaurants. Here is what you will need to set up a live pasta counter. Minimum 2 or 3 types of pasta, for example, fusilli, farfalle, spaghetti, etc. Minimum 2 or 3 white sauces, for example, tomato-based sauce, white sauce, or bolognese. Depending upon what the chef chooses, you can have more than 6 types of toppings and add-ons. The most common ones include dices of capsicum, florets of cauliflower, baby corns, and corn kernels, pieces of chicken, lamb, or seafood. You should also have certain props pertaining to the cuisine that your counter is about. For example, you can have fish bowls full of raw pasta of different shapes, for aesthetic as well as practical reasons. At least 3 non-stick pans are mandatory. Adequate ladles and spoons, a blancher to blanch the vegetables and pasta, a gas range to cook on. Some cuisine-related condiments, which in this case would include oregano, chili flakes, parmesan cheese, Gouda cheese, salt, pepper, etc. And finally, adequate number of pasta plates to serve the pasta in. All the above things should be placed in a trolley, which will allow easy transport of tools and ingredients to and from the counter. The counter should be cleared of any and all of the above tools and ingredients after the facility has been closed. Recall the process of setting up a live pasta counter. Let us now move on to the counters dealing with live egg cookery. Since eggs are items that can be cooked in a very short time, egg counters are fairly popular. These can be found in almost all coffee shops and all-day diners or restaurants. To set up an egg counter, you will need a gas range to cook on, a non-stick pan, a saucepan, a wooden ladle, a perforated spoon, some condiments like salt, pepper, parmesan cheese, etc. to add that added flavor to the dish. Adequate number of beaten eggs. Typical toppings used in egg cookery like finely chopped tomatoes, onions, mushrooms, capsicum, green chilies, ham, bacon, chicken, cheese, to name a few. You will also need enough number of plates to serve the dishes in, along with aesthetic and practical props like baskets of whole vegetables and fish bowls full of vegetables. All the above things should be placed in a trolley, which will allow easy transport of tools and ingredients to and from the counter. The counter should be cleared of any and all of the above tools and ingredients after the facility has been closed. Take a look at the things to remember when setting up an egg counter. Just like eggs, another dish that can be cooked live is the South Indian delicacy, dosa. Dosa is made from fermented rice batter and is very easy and quick to cook. It can be served with either chutney or the traditional South Indian stew called sambar, or both. To set up a live dosa counter, you will need a gas range to cook on, a hot plate or griddle, a flat steel spatula to flip the dosas, typical condiments like oil, salt, pepper, gunpowder, toppings like chopped onions, tomatoes, green chilies, coriander, eggs, tomato and coconut chutneys, adequate batter in bowls, enough number of plates to serve the dosas. You will also require props like banana stem, coconut leaves, vegetables, mustard seeds arranged in a bowl for practical and aesthetic purposes. All of the above things should be placed in a trolley, which will allow easy transport of tools and ingredients to and from the counter. The counter should be cleared of any and all the above tools and ingredients after the facility has been closed. Here's a quick recap of what goes into setting up a live dosa counter. Now that you know what the setting up activity at the live counters entails, here are some of the things that you must always do when serving at the live counter. Always smile genuinely. Guests like it when you are courteous and genial with them. Be well groomed and keep yourself and your uniform clean and presentable. Maintain courteous silence. Do not be chatty with guests or ask them personal questions. Always greet the guest with the appropriate salutation as described by the company or the restaurant. Speak to the guest and provide assistance when needed or asked for. Always pay attention to what your guests say. Maintain the temperature of the food as required. Do not let the food enter the danger zone, as that can be hazardous to your customers' health. Always keep your work area neat and tidy. And don't forget to keep a record of all the orders and or cash that you handled in the entire day. When closing the counter, be silent and discreet about it. Now, here are some of the things that should never be done at live counters. You must never refuse the guest anything as far as possible. If something is outside of your capacity or capability, seek the assistance of seniors. Never raise your voice when speaking to the guest. Never touch your face or other body parts when serving at a live counter. Avoid making noise when handling pots and pans. Be careful in case you drop a utensil. Never yawn in front of the guest. Never eat at the counter where you are serving. Only taste the food occasionally with a disposable spoon. You must never work under the influence of alcohol. Also, avoid smoking when stationed at live counters. It goes against anyone's civic sense. Never leave your station unattended. Always arrange for a colleague to take over on your behalf in case you need to leave for a short while. It must be so much fun working at a live counter, mustn't it? I know you're all raring to work at such an exciting place where you get to interact with the guests directly. But before you're ready to do that, let's quickly recall what we learned today. We learned that live counters are places where food is cooked in front of the guests and served right away. We also learned about what to keep in mind when setting up a live counter. For example, the available space, the cuisine, the theme, etc. Then we learned how to set up a pasta counter. We also learned how to set up a typical egg counter. And lastly, we learned how to set up a dosa counter. We then learned the rules to be followed when at a live counter. And finally, we learned what to avoid or what not to do when at a live counter. Every dish that is prepared in the kitchen is a product of many hands. It is very important to learn how to work together. Let's start with what you shouldn't do.
Hey, Kabir. I need your help with this mere poha. Do you have the time?
Of course. Let me just wash my hands and I'll be back.
Okay.
The chef might assign to you a particular area of the kitchen. However, if you are idle while another section is very busy, you should be flexible enough to help out in other sections.
Hello everyone, listen up. Times Food Guide has given us a fantastic review for the Mughlai Food Festival last week. The managers just put up the article.
Good job, everyone. Take 5 minutes to celebrate.
Every restaurant aims to please its guests. When it is successful in this, the guests lavish their praises upon it. In such cases, do not simply take all the credit. Inform your other team members too. Not only is it a huge encouragement, but the otherwise ignored members of the team will also feel important.
Hey Jayesh, can you please wash that saucepan for me? I need it urgently.
Sure. Let me get someone to keep an eye on this sauce.
Today, the world is completely customer driven. If you don't give your guests what they want, they will simply patronize another restaurant. So, instead of fussing over helping out in another section or doing menial jobs, your actions must be guided by the ultimate goal of making the customer happy. For example, even if you're asked to wash dishes, you should do it happily, knowing that it will contribute to the dining experience of the guest.
Oh my God. I can't believe I have to make all these dishes in 20 minutes. Shit, the sauce.
Jayesh, you look really stressed here. Need some help? I can watch the sauce. Sheetal will be done with the stock in a minute. She can also help you with the dip.
Yes Jayesh, I'll be there in a minute.
Thanks. I could really use the help.
Doing a dish completely on your own is a very stupid idea. Not only is it difficult, but it will also take too much time. Guests need to be served as soon as possible. Hence, you should always work with others to send food out on time. Don't be afraid to ask for a helping hand, but more importantly, don't forget to offer one either. Now that I've mentioned all the don'ts, let's summarize all the different things that you should not do. Firstly, don't be rigid or stubborn. Next, don't be selfish. You should accept praise graciously and humbly and repeat it to your team members. Thirdly, do not get caught up with small things. And finally, under no circumstances should you work on your own. Use all the available help in order to complete the dish as efficiently as possible. Now that we have spoken about what you should not do, let us see what you can do in order to improve the efficiency of the kitchen. Communication is very important in a kitchen. If you're going to work in a team, you will need to understand each other very well. Make sure that you listen to instructions carefully.
Hey, you look very ill. Why don't you take the rest of the day off? I'll take on your shift so that there are no issues in the kitchen.
Thanks Kabir, that will be wonderful. Let me just explain what was assigned to me. This thing that I was doing.
Okay.
So
Occasionally, members of your team might be sick or delayed due to emergencies. The hospitality industry is very labor sensitive. You must be willing to put in extra hours to cover their absence.
Hey everyone. We have recently had a slightly negative review about the buffet breakfast spread. The review said it was too boring. So we will need to rethink our approach.
Chef, I have an idea. What if we introduce fusion style dosas at live dosa counter?
or we can vary the themes of the breakfast every day, like continental on Monday, Indian on Tuesday, American on Wednesday and such.
Good. They are both great ideas. Let's discuss this some more. And someone please make the notes.
Take the papers.
In any workplace, problems are bound to crop up. However, in the chaos of the kitchen, there is very little opportunity to take up these problems. Hence, you must always bring up problems for discussion during briefings. Remember, you are a part of a bigger team and your main purpose is to deliver excellent food and service to your guests. This includes working efficiently and cleanly. Everything that you must do in the kitchen should be done while keeping the customer in mind. One more time, here are the important tips for teamwork. A good team needs to have good communication, ask questions, respond loudly, and do everything to make sure that you communicate effectively. In a team, when one member is hurt, the others fill the gap. The same concept applies in the kitchen. Next, you need to discuss problems. Since it is impossible to do so during service hours, take time out during briefing sessions to bring up points of concern. Last, but certainly not the least, is to keep in mind the ultimate goal, pleasing the customer. So, after this lesson on teamwork, I hope you've picked up a few points. Let's look at the do's and don'ts once again. Do. Be communicative. Fill in for others. Discuss problems. Keep in mind the ultimate goal. Don't. Be rigid. Be selfish. Get caught up with small things. Work alone.
अजीत, क्या तुम बीमार हो? अगर नहीं, तो तुम आशा करूं कि शेफ क्या? अपनी बात पूरी करो जयेश। मैं जानता हूं कि मुझे जयेश को ऐसी स्थिति में नहीं देखना चाहिए। और अजीत, यह मत सोचना कि मैंने तुम्हें छींकते हुए नहीं देखा है। तुम्हें उस काउंटर को नए आइटम्स के साथ फिर से तैयार करना होगा। और जाकर शीशे में अपना चेहरा देखो। मुझे खेद है शेफ, आज मैं जल्दी में था क्योंकि मुझे यहां पहुंचना था। इस तरह से आने के लिए कोई बहाना मत बनाओ। अगर तुम्हारे रहने और कपड़े पहनने के तरीके से यदि केवल तुम पर फर्क पड़ता तो मैं जाने भी देता, पर रेस्टोरेंट के मामले में ऐसा नहीं चलेगा। मेरे पास तुम्हें समझने का समय नहीं है, पर हम इस पर बातचीत करेंगे। जयेश, कृपया किसी को वहां काउंटर साफ करने के लिए कहो और अजीत को स्वयं को साफ करने में मदद करो।
दोस्तों, शेफ की प्रतिक्रिया के आधार पर आप देख सकते हैं कि मेहमान नवाजी के व्यवसाय में व्यक्तिगत स्वच्छता बहुत महत्वपूर्ण होती है। आइए मैं बताती हूँ क्यों। रेस्तरां व्यवसाय लोगों पर आधारित होता है, इसलिए एक कुक या शेफ की व्यक्तिगत स्वच्छता का असर सीधे सीधे ग्राहक की सेहत पर पड़ता है। व्यक्तिगत स्वच्छता फूड पॉइजनिंग और भोजन से जुड़ी बीमारियों को दूर रखने के लिए बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है। बहुत सी संक्रमित बीमारियां भोज्य पदार्थों से फैलती हैं। बैक्टीरिया और अन्य जीवाणु भोज्य पदार्थों में उचित तापमान और समय के साथ अपना संयोजन एक आरामदायक घर बना लेते हैं। कुछ बेकार आदतें जानलेवा साबित हो सकती हैं। आइए देखें कि अजीत ने ऐसा क्या किया था जो कि रसोई के लिए बिल्कुल उपयुक्त नहीं था। पहला, उसका यूनिफॉर्म गंदा था। अगला, उसके नाखून बहुत बड़े बड़े थे। हम उन नाखूनों के अंदर भरे मैल को अपने भोजन में नहीं चाहते, है ना? उसने घड़ी भी पहनी हुई थी। ऐसा बिल्कुल नहीं करना चाहिए। जरा सोचिए, अगर घड़ी सूप में गिरकर सर्व कर दी जाए तो? उसका चेहरा देखें। आपको सबसे पहले उसकी बढ़ी हुई दाढ़ी और लंबे बाल दिखाई देंगे, जो कि भद्देपन के संकेत हैं। इस स्तर की व्यक्तिगत स्वच्छता को किसी भी रसोई में बर्दाश्त नहीं किया जाएगा। तो आपको क्या करना चाहिए? इसका जवाब आसान है। बस अपनी व्यक्तिगत स्वच्छता को बनाए रखने के लिए कुछ आसान आदतें डालें। आइए देखते हैं। रसोई के लिए बिल्कुल अनुपयोगी। 1. गंदा यूनिफॉर्म। 2. बड़े हुए नाखून। 3. घड़ी पहनना। 4. दाढ़ी और लंबे बाल। व्यक्तिगत स्वरूप और आदतें। हमेशा एक साफ और इस्त्री किया हुआ किचन यूनिफॉर्म पहने। इससे आप रोज पहने जाने वाले कपड़ों की धूल और कीटाणुओं से बच सकेंगे। आपके निकाले हुए या अतिरिक्त कपड़ों व अन्य व्यक्तिगत वस्तुओं को रसोई से दूर रखें। अपने नाखून कटे हुए और साफ रखें ताकि बीमारियां ना फैलें। लड़कियां अपने बाल बांध कर रखें और उन्हें ढक कर रखें ताकि उनके भोजन में गिरने का खतरा ना रहे। लड़के अपने बाल छोटे छोटे रखें और रोजाना दाढ़ी बनाएं। कान के टॉप्स, बालियां और हाथ में घड़ी ना पहनें। लड़कियों को रसोई में रहने के दौरान मेकअप नहीं करना चाहिए। भोजन बनाते समय कोई तेज परफ्यूम ना लगाएं। साथ ही नेल पॉलिश ना लगाएं क्योंकि वो भोजन में जा सकती है। आपको ऑफिस आने से पहले नहाना चाहिए। ऐसे डिओड्रेंट लगाएं जो कि बहुत तेज ना हो पर पसीने की बदबू से आपको दूर रखे। रसोई में सैंडल या चप्पल ना पहने। आपके पाँव हमेशा पूरी तरह से ढके हुए होने चाहिए। साफ दिखने के अलावा आपको साफ और स्वस्थ आदतें अपनाने का प्रयत्न करना चाहिए। कभी धूम्रपान ना करें। च्युइंगम, तंबाकू ना चबाएं। भोजन जहां स्टोर किया गया हो वहां ना थूकें और वहां भोजन ना खाएं। छींकते समय हमेशा अपना मुंह ढकें और बाद में कुछ छूने से पहले अपने हाथ धो लें। भोजन चखने के लिए हमेशा एक नया चम्मच इस्तेमाल करें और उसे एक बार इस्तेमाल करने के बाद बिना धोए दोबारा इस्तेमाल ना करें। अपने हाथों को साफ तौलिए, डिस्पोजेबल पेपर टॉवल से पोंछें या ड्रायर के नीचे सुखाएं। अगर आप बीमार हैं तो तुरंत अपने सुपरवाइजर को सूचित करें और रसोई में काम ना करें जब तक कि आपका डॉक्टर आपको रसोई में काम करने की इजाजत ना दे। ऐसा ना करने पर आप बीमारी को फैलाने का खतरा मोल लेंगे। और आखिरी पर महत्वपूर्ण बात, रसोई में कभी भी नाक में उंगली ना डालें।
गुड मॉर्निंग हेड शेफ। गुड मॉर्निंग अजीत। मैं देख रहा हूं कि तुम अपने फीडबैक को बहुत अच्छे से ले रहे हो। तुम्हें साफ और वेल ग्रूम देखकर अच्छा लग रहा है। बहुत बढ़िया, धन्यवाद सर।
वाह, लगता है कि अजीत की गाड़ी वापस पटरी पर आ रही है। अजीत की तरह आपके सामने कभी ऐसी दिक्कत ना आए, इसलिए आपको कुछ सामान्य नियमों का पालन करना होगा जो कि हमने पहले बताए थे। आइए जल्दी से उन्हें दोहराते हैं। अनुशासन और समय की पाबंदी दो अलग अलग अवधारणाएं लगती हैं, पर असल में ये आपस में जुड़ी हुई हैं। असल में समय की पाबंदी को अनुशासन के अंतर्गत ही रखा जा सकता है। अगर आप अनुशासित हैं और आचार संहिता का पालन करते हैं तो आप अपने आप ही सुचारू रूप से काम करेंगे और जिम्मेदार होंगे। मैं जानती हूँ कि आप जानना चाहते हैं कि जयेश के साथ क्या हुआ था। आइए देखें। जयेश की शिफ्ट 3 बजे शुरू होती है, पर 2:45 पर वो घर पर ही था। ये जानकर कि वो लेट है, रेस्तरां को एक छोटे से फोन कॉल द्वारा सूचित किया जा सकता था कि वे लोग किसी का इंतजाम कर लें। पर जयेश ने ऐसा नहीं किया। वो बड़े आराम से काम पर पहुंचा। उसने इस बात की परवाह नहीं की कि रेस्तरां में कर्मचारियों की कमी है।
क्या हो रहा है यहाँ? देखो तो कौन आया है। काश तुम थोड़े पहले आ गए होते, जब हम रसोई में कम लोग होने की वजह से मुश्किल में थे। माफ कीजिए, इसमें मुझे दोष ना दें। अगर आप लोग एक छोटी सी मुश्किल का सामना नहीं कर सकते तो आप काम में अच्छे नहीं हैं।
ओहो, ये जयेश हैं, जो कि अब दिन की दूसरी गलती कर रहा है। इतने रूखे स्वर में बात करना ये दर्शाता है कि वो बिल्कुल भी अनुशासित नहीं है। आइए देखें कि आगे क्या हुआ। आई डोंट केयर। क्या
क्या
कर
हो रहा
रहे
है
हैं?
यहाँ? जयेश, तुम क्यों तमाशा कर रहे हो? तुमने बिना सूचित किए देर से आकर पहले ही नुकसान किया है। ये क्या है, जेल है? ऐसा बस आज ही हुआ है। मैं कौन सा रोज देर से आता हूं? जयेश, बहुत सुन लिया।
दोस्तों, अपने सीनियर्स को कभी इस तरह से जवाब ना दें। इस मामले में शेफ रसोई में सबसे बड़े ओहदे पर हैं। पता नहीं जयेश को क्या हुआ है। बस आशा है कि उसे अपनी नौकरी से हाथ ना धोना पड़े।
फाइनली, अंत में मैं अपना डेजर्ट बना सकता हूं। ये लो, छीलो इसे। मुझे अपने स्टेशन पर वापस जाना है। अरे, पर रुको, मैं ये सब अकेला नहीं कर सकता। शीतल, तुम्हें मेरी मदद करनी होगी। मैं ये अकेला नहीं कर सकता हूं।
जयेश, तुम देख नहीं रहे कि मैं व्यस्त हूँ? और क्या ये मदद मांगने का तरीका है? जैसा कि आपने देखा, जयेश ने बहुत सी गलतियां की। अगर आपको एक सफल कुक बनना है तो आपको ये गलतियां नहीं करनी चाहिए। आइए इनकी सूची बनाएं ताकि आपको पता रहे कि क्या नहीं करना चाहिए। सबसे पहले, आपको काम पर देर से नहीं पहुंचना चाहिए। कुछ 1 मिनट तो ठीक है, पर आपको इसे एक आदत नहीं बनाना चाहिए। कभी भी रूखा व्यवहार ना करें। इससे कुछ प्राप्त नहीं होता, बल्कि आपका ही व्यक्तित्व नकारात्मक प्रतीत होता है। कभी भी अपने सीनियर्स का अपमान ना करें। शेफ इंचार्ज का ओहदा सबसे बड़ा होता है और उनसे बहस करना आपको भारी पड़ सकता है। रसोई एक बहुत व्यस्त स्थान होता है। आपको काम करते हुए लोगों के बीच में आना नहीं चाहिए। क्या होना चाहिए था? उन सब बातों को जानने के बाद आइए जयेश को एक दूसरा मौका दें। आशा है कि इस बार वो बेहतर प्रदर्शन दिखाएगा। इसलिए समय का पाबंद होना बहुत जरूरी है। सुनिश्चित करें कि हस्तांतरण या हैंडओवर सुचारू रूप से हो। अपने सह कर्मचारियों को इंतजार ना करवाएं। हो सकता है जयेश के देर से आने की कोई ठोस वजह हो। शायद सड़क पर कोई हादसा हुआ हो जिससे ट्रैफिक जाम हो गया हो। अगर ऐसा हुआ था तो जयेश को अपने सहकर्मचारियों की स्थिति को थोड़ा समझना चाहिए था और उन्हें देर से आने की बात फोन करके बता देनी चाहिए थी। दूसरों की परिस्थिति को समझना अनुशासित होने का ही एक हिस्सा होता है। हम नियमों का पालन इसलिए करते हैं ताकि सभी का जीवन आसान बन सके। यदि शेफ इंचार्ज आपको कोई ऑर्डर देते हैं तो आपको उसे मानना होगा। एक व्यावसायिक रसोई के अव्यवस्थित और अत्यधिक तनाव वाले वातावरण में लोगों को गुस्सा आना बहुत स्वाभाविक है। हालांकि आपको हमेशा सभी को विनम्रता और आदर से उत्तर देना चाहिए। यदि आप अहंकारी बने रहेंगे तो कभी भी असिस्टेंट कुक से आगे नहीं बढ़ पाएंगे। दूसरों का आदर करें, विनम्र रहें और अपनी आलोचना के लिए तैयार रहें। रसोई में अपने काम के दौरान आपको कई बार शंकाएं होंगी और बहुत सी चीजों के बारे में जिज्ञासा होगी। और बहुत बार मदद की आवश्यकता होगी। हो सकता है कि शेफ के पास हमेशा आपको उत्तर देने का समय ना हो, इसलिए आपको उत्तर के लिए उनसे निवेदन करना होगा। आपको हमेशा पहले से योजना बनानी चाहिए और किसी भी समस्या या विलंब के लिए पर्याप्त समय लेकर चलना चाहिए। सारांश, जयेश के मामले से हमने बहुत कुछ सीखा है ना? आइए एक बार फिर से संक्षेप में देखें। शुरू करते हैं कि आपको क्या करना चाहिए और ये सूची है उन बातों की जिन्हें नहीं करना चाहिए। रसोई घर एक बहुत बड़ा क्षेत्र है जिसमें विशिष्ट उपकरण, उनसे जुड़ी हुई गतिविधियां और निश्चित रूप से उससे जुड़े लोग सभी का समावेश होता है। तो आइए एक व्यावसायिक रसोई घर में इस्तेमाल होने वाले उपकरणों की सूची बनाते हैं। एक व्यावसायिक रसोई घर में अनिवार्य रूप से बड़े बड़े उपकरण होने चाहिए जिनसे बड़े पैमाने पर किए जाने वाले कठिन काम आसानी से किए जा सकें। छोटे उपकरणों की आवश्यकता एकल या व्यक्तिगत ऑर्डरों को जल्दी से पूरा करने के लिए पड़ती है। हाथ उपकरण एक शेफ के लिए सच्चे मित्र की तरह होते हैं। कोई भी रसोई घर इनके बिना पूरा नहीं हो सकता। एक रसोई घर में विभिन्न प्रकार के व्यंजन बनाने के लिए अनिवार्य रूप से बर्तन, पैन और सांचे होने चाहिए। यदि आप इन उपकरणों से परिचित नहीं हैं, तो घबराइए मत, हम निश्चित तौर पर आपकी मदद करेंगे। नमस्कार, बड़े उपकरण नामक इस मॉड्यूल में आपका स्वागत है। इस मॉड्यूल को पूरा कर लेने के बाद आप समर्थ होंगे बड़े उपकरणों को पहचान सकेंगे, प्रत्येक उपकरण के इस्तेमाल के बारे में बता सकेंगे। जैसा कि आप जानते हैं कि एक बैंकेट रसोई घर में एक बार में बड़ी संख्या में लोगों के लिए खाना बनाया व परोसा जाता है। बड़े उपकरणों की मदद से ऐसे रसोई घर के कामकाज को कुशलता और प्रभावी रूप से करने में मदद मिलती है। शेफ राज ने हमें उसके रसोई घर को इस्तेमाल करने की अनुमति दी है। आइए देखें कि उनके पास कौन कौन से उपकरण हैं। यह कीमा बनाने की मशीन है। यह आपको बिना हड्डी वाले मांस का महीन कीमा बनाने में मदद करती है। आप इसका इस्तेमाल लाल मांस का कीमा बनाने के लिए या विभिन्न प्रकार के मांस को एक साथ मिलाने के लिए कर सकते हैं। बफेलो चॉपर का इस्तेमाल बड़ी मात्रा में मांस या सब्जियों को बारीक काटने के लिए किया जाता है। इसका आकार अलग अलग हो सकता है। वेजिटेबल प्रोसेसर कई समायोजनों वाली एक ऐसी मशीन होती है जो किसी भी सब्जी को विविध प्रकार से काट सकती है। ग्रेविटी स्लाइसर किसी भी सब्जी, बिना हड्डी वाले मांस या चीज आदि के टुकड़े को 1 मिलीमीटर से लेकर 12 मिलीमीटर मोटाई तक की पतली और समान आकार की फाकों में काट सकता है। टिल्टिंग पैन्स ऐसे बड़े बड़े कुकिंग पैन होते हैं जिनसे सूप या तरी की बड़ी मात्रा को बिना पूरा पैन उठाए किसी दूसरे बर्तन में आसानी से स्थानांतरित किया जा सकता है। उन्हें हाथ से या किसी मशीन की सहायता से झुकाया जा सकता है। स्टीमर का उपयोग बड़ी मात्रा में चावल और सब्जियों को पकाने के लिए किया जाता है। इनमें एक बार में 150 किलोग्राम तक की मात्रा पकाई जा सकती है। वेट ग्राइंडर्स घूमने वाले बड़े बड़े ग्राइंडर्स होते हैं जिनमें विभिन्न चीजों को पीसने के लिए पानी का उपयोग भी किया जा सकता है या बिना पानी के भी पीसा जा सकता है। कॉम्बी ओवन्स का उपयोग किसी भी खाद्य सामग्री को भाप में पकाने या उसे सूखा भूनने के लिए किया जाता है। यह आश्चर्यजनक है, ठीक इसके नाम की तरह। इसमें खाना पकाने की अलग अलग विधियां अपनाई जा सकती हैं। कन्वेंशनल डेक ओवन वो उपकरण है जिसमें केक और बिस्किट्स बेक किए जाते हैं। पिज्जा ओवन्स पिज्जा बनाने वाली बड़ी बड़ी भट्टियां होती हैं। इस ओवन में तापमान बहुत ज्यादा होता है, इसलिए इनका इस्तेमाल करते समय आपको हमेशा सावधान रहना चाहिए। सालामेंडर रसोई घर का ऐसा उपकरण होता है जो खाद्य सामग्री को ऊपर या नीचे ड्राई हीट देता है। क्या आप ये जानते थे? वॉक इन फ्रीजर मांस को हफ्तों तक कीटाणुओं से सुरक्षित रखता है। प्रोसेस्ड और अनप्रोसेस्ड दोनों ही प्रकार के मांस अंदर रखे जाते हैं और शेफ अंदर जाकर अपनी आवश्यकतानुसार जो उसे चाहिए उसे लेकर बाहर आ सकता है। वहीं दूसरी ओर रिच इन रेफ्रिजरेटर वो होता है जिसमें बार बार इस्तेमाल होने वाली वस्तुएं रखी जाती हैं ताकि उन्हें जल्दी से निकाला जा सके। ये बहुत कुछ हमारे घर के रेफ्रिजरेटर जैसे ही होते हैं। अंडर काउंटर रेफ्रिजरेटर या फ्रीजर सीधा या आड़ा रेफ्रिजरेटर होता है जिसके ऊपर एक मेज होती है जिस पर काम किया जाता है। यहाँ ऐसी कुछ मशीनें हैं जिन्हें आपने अभी अभी देखा है। मीट मिंसर, बफेलो चॉपर, वेजिटेबल प्रोसेसर, ग्रेविटी स्लाइजर, टिल्टिंग पैन्स, स्टीमर्स, वेट ग्राइंडर्स, कन्वेंशनल डेक ovens, पिज्जा ovens, salamander, walk-in freezers, rich in refrigerator, under counter refrigerator और freezers। उपरोक्त सभी उपकरण या तो केवल वाष्प, बिजली या ईंधन पर चलते हैं या फिर इनके संयोजन पर। इन्हें इस्तेमाल करते समय सावधानी बरतें। इन्हें पहली बार इस्तेमाल करते समय किसी की मदद लें।
Hello viewers, welcome to Digi Shala. I am Rajalakshmi, Training Manager working at National Institute of Rural Development and Panchayati Raj, Hyderabad. Today we will discuss some of the queries we got from all over the country on different modes of digital payments. I have here with me Dr. Anuradha, Assistant Professor from NIRD and PR, to give her expert take